Looks like.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the Wednesday, April 7th, the Michigan City Tree Board meeting. The roll call, please.
Art Ginter,
Present.
Laura Henderson, present. Laura Koch,
Present.
Tim Werner,
Present.
Mick Wolf,
I'm present also.
Dahlia Zegas. Not here yet. Okay.
Okay, well, I think we got the quorum going. So let's, do we have any minutes to be approved?
I mailed them around. I hope you got them.
I don't, but I wasn't at the last meeting, so it doesn't matter to me. I'll have to back off. So,
Okay, I make a
does
motion.
anybody
I make a motion that we
make
approve
a
the minutes.
motion?
I second.
Okay. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay, since I wasn't here last time, I'm just going to abstain. So, all right, the approval of the minutes from 3/03/21. That would be March's meeting. The Secretary Treasurer's report. Anything?
don't have it.
Okay, moving down the list. The claims for March. That would be board member compensation for attendance. That would be, so that'd be all of us here right now.
I do not have it. I do not have it.
Well, the claims are just the claims. So that's just to pay out, you know, the five of us that are here at the meeting so far.
That's what you need to send to that gal in the controller's office. A list, Laura, that we were all, which ones were here, so that we get paid.
Yeah, I sent her that. I sent her that for February and March.
Okay, well, that'll be for this month he's talking about, for April. You've got those claims, so those are the only claims, and I move for approval of those claims.
I second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, claims for April have been approved. Okay, communications, any kind of communications?
Well, we got an interesting email from Mr. Harris.
I was just on the phone with him. That's why I was kind of tardy. I can speak to that now if we would like, and then we can go from there.
Sure.
Mr. Cranston and I had a good 20-minute conversation. Of course, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, so they didn't know that they needed to invite the tree board for interviews for the forester's position. After talking to Mr. Harris, he said that the only one that truly was that he had made a job offer to was to a vector control person. So there's a forester has not been hired yet. They're still playing with it, but nobody seems to have a plan. So I guess there was a meeting today that went kind of nowhere on that subject. So we're still.
So
right now,
when you say they,
I guess the mayor and Yolanda, which is the controller, I think, and Mr. Harris, the three of them met, on this subject, and they were talking. The mayor wants to make it a position of the park. So I don't know about that. I'll have to sit and think about that deal. I thought, this was kind of a city type deal. I mean, the park it can also take advantage of the forester and always did. Our communications with the city central services, the mayor's office, and the common council they're not as good as they have been in the past, let's say. So I had talked to Mr. Harris about keeping us in the loop, and he said he would talk whatever he heard, he would tell me about it, as far as any additional people that might look promising to hire or which way the mayor wants to go with this hiring. And I extended the offer to him that, if he needed a person to deal with the residents about tree questions, that he should forward those questions to me, and then that I would in turn look into those issues. So that's where we are right now on this whole forester issue.
Do you know anything about how the Parks Department feels about this?
Well, the park department already got enough stuff on their table. I just don't know. I don't know which way they're trying to go with it. I don't think it should be part of the parks. They also have to do is make a phone call to the forester from the park department's office to the forestry department, and you'll talk to them. I think everybody's kind of playing the shell game with the money.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you that the forester should not be part of the park department. It should remain part of the city. I think the city has many more trees, counting all the cemetery trees and both cemeteries and all the street trees and that, than the park department would have. So I think the forester should certainly remain a member of the city as far as an employee, and not the park department.
Okay. I can write a letter to the mayor's office and to central services expressing that, if that's what the board wishes. It shouldn't be too tough. I do agree with Tim, and I just had to think about it for a while.
I don't know. It seems to me Parks is still part of the city, so
Actually, parks are not part of the city.
Yeah, they're
Parks
separate.
they're their own department. They get funded through the state.
Okay.
They're a completely independent person. They have to tell the city if they're going to do something as respect, but they can do whatever they want.
Okay.
It's their money.
I did not know that.
And
Laura Henderson.
Yes.
Laura, can you give me the numbers for the Zoom meeting? My phone's about to die, so I'm going to try to get on my computer and do it on my computer. If you give me what our Zoom meeting ID and password are, I'll log on.
I just emailed it to you a few minutes ago. Does that help?
I'll try to log off here for a minute and get back on, because I'll have to get my email on my phone here.
Oh. I don't know how I can
all righty, guys. Well, let's move on.
I'm texting you a screenshot of it, but I don't know if that helps at all.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay. Right, I just didn't have your number, Tim. I'm gonna make sure I get it for the future to make it easy, okay? I didn't want to announce it on the Zoom meeting.
That's fine, I appreciate that. Okay. So go ahead, I can hear you while I'm getting in.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and write a letter to the mayor's office and to all the peoples here that saying that, we feel that the forestry department should remain in the city's, I guess, the city's domain. And we can go with there, kind of reiterate, our willingness to interview any applicants for the position.
So,
I'll-
Mick, does this mean that they are actually separating the two positions of vector control and city forester now?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Well, talking to Mr. Harris, he wanted to actually do that.
Yes,
Fantastic.
it needs to be done.
Mhm.
So that's the way he feels on it, but he doesn't have the last say on it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Jessica was, even though she was head of vector control, she had an under person that was basically going to run the vector side while she ran the forestry side of it.
Yeah.
So I guess, well, we all know where that went. So,
Yeah.
but we cut to the chase. I'm just nervous about going down that road again because it was quite tough to get in the Jessica position at that time, and I don't see anybody out there that has as much talent. So,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
there's all different ways to go about it out there. So we'll do what we can.
It's exciting to already see, though, that they're acknowledging that there needs to be a separation. So I think that's a
Yes.
step forward.
Yes,
That is a step forward that needs to be
That
done.
is-
So that's good.
that's huge.
I was excited to see that part in the email that there were two people that were.
Okay, I think I'm back. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, that's a
Yes,
great background.
Yes, we can see you. Nice background too.
Sunset in San Francisco.
Yes. Mick, or anybody, did Lemuel Porter also resign or leave because that was Jessica's assistant.
I imagine he probably did.
Okay, because it looks like they were hiring two people.
Yeah, they were hiring for both Jessica's old position and that under person's position. So I think that was
Assistant,
who you
yeah.
were talking to.
Mhm.
I could just imagine what the pressure was down there for those two.
Yeah.
But, we're seeing it all over the place. I'll go and I'll discuss this maybe in board member comments a little later. But let's move on if everybody's in agreement. That's what the
Yes.
communications was talking about. Is there anything else in communications that we should talk about, Laura?
No, I don't have anything.
Laura, is there? Okay. Let's see. Committee reports. The outreach items. Education, gardening, public relations, calendar events, Arbor Day. Well, Laura, probably you're good at the tips. So any good garden tips here in the spring? Probably everything's good.
Season. Oh my God. I'll try to keep it short and sweet and refined so that we can go forward in these other months. But most importantly, right now, I want to stress the importance of, fertilization because it does keep all of those plants really healthy. But a really big thing right now, because we had a winter as we did, where it was actually pretty soft until we got a little bit of that heavy snow, but there wasn't any deep freezing going on, like really deep. And so I think I like to bring to light weed preventer granules, the importance of those pre-emergence to be put out. We have a lot of invasives, which I'll touch base about a little bit later, but that are coming up. And that can actually, prevent a lot of those as well from spreading. But also helps people with upkeep too. But a really important thing is right now, if you have a plant, tree, shrub that regularly gets affected by insect issues, and it's a really bad problem. I'm finding a lot of borers in all different levels, infestation in trees and in shrubs, actually. We're already seeing them when we're doing some trimming this year, some boring happening. There's systemic imidacloprid products that are out there. They are systemic insecticides. And there's ones where you can do it once and have a 12-month coverage. And now is a wonderful time to do it because those plants are all coming awake and they're all absorbing that right now and bringing it into their system to help protect them moving forward. And it will also control a lot of the infestation of those insects continuing to move along. So right now, really pay attention to the systemic insecticides if you know there's already an issue out there. The same will go for systemic fungicides. Those are applied a little bit differently and not necessarily a 12-month process, usually every 6 weeks or how it's directed. But to get on those preventers right now would be ideal. You know, if you already know that there's an issue, and it can really help control a lot of the problems out there between that healthy fertilization and feeding, trying to use things that have that healthy bacteria in them, like the mycorrhizae when you do the fertilization, is just an additional help. And there's products out there that contain that quite a bit now.
Laura, is there something going on with dogwood trees in the area? Have you heard of any?
Well, there's specific an anthracnose issue that comes up on specific varieties of dogwood. And so that's been showing for quite a few years now. And a lot of people don't know this. They thought that it was something that you couldn't treat, but there is a product out that you can treat. You got to do it every 6 weeks, but there is a drench that's out. Fertilome has a 2-in-1 out right now. Do it now before it leaves out. But that 2-in-1 is a insect and fungal control, but it does actually list that fungal issue that does attack those dogwoods, and you can treat it. And that's
I noticed that. I noticed a lot of dogwoods in town and in Trail Creek and that where my parents live. That there's a lot of dogwoods were hurt last year with that.
Yeah, and those specific varieties are Cornus Florida, and so I, try to recommend Cornus Cusa that do not get that issue. But if you've got a Cornus Florida, they're beautiful trees. If you do the Fertilome 2-in-1, it does list that anthracnose control. You've got to do it as it's directed. I have to say that on the label, which shows every 6 weeks. But it really has helped. It's very exciting, actually. And those healthy bacterias in Asphoma has a bunch of stuff, fertilizers like that. The mycorrhizae is almost like yogurt for people. It's yogurt for plants, in a sense. It keeps that healthy bacteria in your plant and helps ward off a lot of insect and fungal problems naturally because your plant or your tree is healthier across the board. And you'll find that a lot of plants become susceptible to those issues because they generally have a core problem, whether it's a drought issue, maybe it wasn't planted with good soil or poor soil, or if it's just not fed enough and it doesn't have the nutrients that it needs.
Well,
So really bring that into mind right now.
The anthracnosis is usually more of an issue, in the spring, if it's more of a damp spring, you're going to see it more prevalent. If it's dry, you won't see it.
Absolutely.
Last year it was cool and wet, so that's why we saw it so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But, the leaves kind of dry up or they shrivel up, but the second flush of leaves takes over and then the tree will go on through the rest of the season not knowing that you ever had a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But that tree, there's a couple other trees out there too that also have the same problem. They have them usually in the fall. The big sycamores or London plane trees, the same type there, they get it real bad. They almost look like, they'll get it in September and you think that the leaves already came off already. But
and Rick's right. It's just an ugly disease, it just makes them rough looking and, they're still living, but they're just rough, and they go through their cycles. So, preventing it early on helps a lot of that, so it's food for thought at an earlier time. I agree. I don't know if you've noticed also, there's some maples that were getting blight and, if you've got a plant that constantly, there's some things that unfortunately weren't able to be treated, but we're finding with a lot of the healthy bacteria fertilizers and things like that, and those systemic early drenches, that combination of things has actually made a big difference. And that's very exciting in the plant world, to know that there is a solution coming about. Mick, how are you seeing the oaks right now?
Well, they got buds on them, so haven't really seen much of anything. It's a little early, but we'll see. If it's dry, it'll be one thing. If it's really wet, it'll be another. So
Yeah.
we'll see
Are
when
you
they come
concerned
out.
at all about like the continuation of trimming, that pocket time of trimming, or do you think it's still safe? That's always a subject we bring up.
Oh, it's definitely now that it's pushing, things are, the tree juices are moving up. So, you don't want them, they're really moving up. So now is really not the time to do it.
Yeah.
April 1st is usually, or March 31st is usually the cutoff.
Yeah, it's earlier and early every year. I don't know if you guys noticed, and later, there's a short pocket, and our season, you can see things are swelling. Hydrangeas are swelling out of their stems already. That's early, So, all those things, you need to be careful with trimming on specific items because of their buds and blooms, or, the way that you treat them and how soon you treat them. But, also evergreens too, waiting on trimming those, I always say, until you get a little closer to May, because they'll push off that new growth. And there is still time for that freeze to happen. So those are always things that I highlight to people and say, hey, it feels great right now, but be aware that that can change over a couple of nights and it can affect some things. So hold off on the evergreen trimming just for a little bit. All it's going to do is cause new growth and just maybe like an ugly little freeze fringe on them. So if you already did it, that's what will come, but more new growth will come. But just a heads up so you can avoid that too, if that makes sense. So it's ready to go. We're kicking into season,
Yes, we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. Everybody's getting a little antsy. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Things will improve and we can all be kinder folks. I guess the next biggest, the Arbor Day thing. Does anybody know about these trees? Are they still out there? So we got to go pick them up. Has anybody heard anything about it, or is this?
Yeah, Jessica has ordered them. We can go pick them up shortly before May 1st. The farmers market is opening on May 1st, so we can do our giveaway there. But I guess we better contact Johnny Stimley or whoever and make sure that can happen.
Johnny Stimley's not in charge. Johnny Stimley no longer works for the city.
Okay, who has that position?
I don't know, they eliminated the position.
Okay.
All right, well,
I'm trying to see if I can figure out who's in.
I'll take a ride to find out where. I guess I have to probably call Jessica and just have a heart-to-heart with her and find out who's got these, where they're at, how to get them, or.
Mick, I have the, whatever it is, the receipt or something. They can be picked up at Jasper Pulaski. And I have the thing. She emailed it to me. So.
Will you email it to me, please? So I'll.
Sure.
I'll take a ride down one rainy day and pick them up. As far as that, let's try to shoot for May 1st. In the morning there, and just give them away like we've been doing for so many years before. Tim, it's basically pretty easy. We put them on a table and they come up and we put them in a bag and off they go. Probably show up about 8, 9 and gone by 12, 1 o'clock. So, you know,
Well, count me in as being there. I'm looking forward to being there and handing out trees.
Yes.
It's
Laura?
either that or I go to my company's cleanup on a highway out in Lake County. So I'd rather give out trees.
I'm with
Laura?
you there.
And I have something I wanted to let you guys know actually too. It's our 40th year at the Garden Center, and we really wanted to donate some additional babies to the giveaway. So we're waiting on their availability of shipping to tell us, what they're going to be shipping. But I wanted to also, this is up to you guys how you guys want to do it, but some live potted trees. We have a couple of babies we would like to donate, and I don't know how you guys want to do that, if you want to raffle them, what you want to do. And I also have a couple that are a little larger in size that we would like to donate for the tree board. You guys to decide how you guys want to do a giveaway, a raffle, whatever you want to do with them, or if you'd like them to be planted and located someplace special. So I don't know if that's something that you would like to accept as a gift, but we wanted as our kind of 40 year to give that to the city. So let me know what you think.
All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I don't know how you want. They're live trees, so some of them are smaller, 3 gallon. I'll have some bare root of some items, but some of them are smaller, 3 gallon. Just a nice handful, and the other 2 are larger in size, like balled and burlap. So I wasn't really sure how you guys think about it. We have a minute to decide. We do. We can approach that we can approach that at a later date, whatever you guys want to do. How you guys want to.
The ones in the plastic pot, I think, would be easier for people in the general public to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, the bag and the ball and burlap, you got to keep them wet. They get heavy. The ball is.
Yeah, I figured those, if you guys wanted to do some sort of raffle for, your tree board funding or whatever you can, whatever you'd like to do. If people want to do raffle tickets, and those we could donate the planting to those people, whatever you want, just thoughts, just fun, different things, so just thoughts.
Alrighty.
So we wouldn't actually bring the balled and burlap trees to the giveaway because that would be a whole thing, but I could bring the smaller ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that covers the Arbor Day, probably calendar events, public relations, of course.
And I have a ton of bags, plastic bags.
So
that I will bring. Put the trees in. I
Okay.
have a ton of them.
Yeah.
I've been holding them, and now I'll clean out my garage. They can do it.
All right.
So don't have to worry about bags. I have them.
Okay.
But
Okay, so are we really going to be trying to give these out at the farmer's market then? Is that the decision?
Yes.
Yeah, we do. They're just like little, whippersnapper. But we wrap them in the little grocery bag and just hand them off, and yeah. We'll have little ribbons. We'll write the name on them for people if they'd like. I always bring the ribbon.
Yeah.
Since Johnny Stimley isn't involved in the farmer's market anymore, who do we know that we need to contact to get a table or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know who's in charge of it at all.
Barb, do you know?
it was in the paper, but I cannot remember who it said to contact now.
Yeah, because if we do that, we've got to make sure we put it out there to everybody that we're doing it. None of that date. We've got a lot to do in the next couple weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So.
So I can contact somebody and find out who we need to talk to. Shall I do that?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll probably little things will pop up, but I think we're seasoned pros at giving the trees away.
Yeah, but we need somebody to write some kind of press release.
Okay. I've got a past one that I've already written.
Okay.
we just have to change the date, and I can send it to you. I've got it saved, I
Yeah.
think, under the tree board file anyways. So
Yeah,
yeah, I can.
and then you can say which species we have.
Yeah, that was the
Whatever.
only thing I wanted to confirm, is that they actually, confirmed those, because sometimes when there's an early order, then that's why I never say until I get it in my hands. But if you're just to be really
Good point. Yeah.
that those are what are coming, and availability is very interesting in the tree world this year. So I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had talked about last month of having that possibly, the notice being on the city's website. If there's a possibility of doing that, I don't know who to talk to there, but can we also get that in like the Beecher and in the Herald Dispatch as well?
Great idea. Yeah, and the newspapers will
Definitely.
add. The sustainability page, I think we talked about too, didn't we? About posting
Yes.
on that
Yes.
one. Yeah. And the Dahlia is associated with that, correct?
I am too.
Yeah. Oh, great. Perfect. Okay. So maybe we could do it on there.
All right, let's move on down the list here. City park trees. Anybody have anything to say about that? I have no items under there.
No.
All right. City street trees, I have no items.
Mick, I did talk to the mayor earlier last month about getting those lights off the trees on Franklin Street.
Did you?
It sounds like they are moving forward on that, but since the mayor has had some issues in the last month, I think it might have fallen off the top of his list towards the bottom.
I actually saw Loggins with a cherry picker over there, and somebody was fiddling around with the trees. And I saw a whole lot of trees without lights on them. So it may be a done deal.
Okay, so that's what he said. He was probably going to have Loggins Tree Service do it. So it sounds like that's the case. So
That's
Okay.
wonderful. Yay!
there's one to take off the list.
Yeah.
I feel like we're moving forward here. This is great. Wonderful.
I will be at my
All
office on Franklin Street tomorrow, so I'll take a look up and down the
Yeah,
street. They're all
check.
done.
Okay.
They were getting a little bit,
Very tight, very
Strangled.
tight on the trees.
Yeah. They were getting
yeah. Half of them were out. It looked pretty bad. So, but, all right. Well, that's good news there. Grant application and maintenance. I don't know anything about that. Purchasing and tree planting, that's kind of, don't know anything about those. Maybe I will write an email to Mr. Harris to find out if there's anything like that going on. I'm kind of interested in the Tree City designation stuff. Should have come in by now.
Yeah.
We'd also probably want to get that. That's usually a big, huge box of some sort or another.
A banner, and that would be nice to bring if they have.
Yes. Yes.
I have the old one, but it says the year, and so they usually send you a hat too, Mick. You got to get this up. You got to go pick it up. You got to represent. No offense to your hair. No. But
Well,
So
I'm interested
you
to
want
see
to
if, because Jessica did apply for the Growth Award, which is something that we had never gotten there. It'd be nice to see if there was anything that ever came of that. I guess would be a kind of a feather in our cap for a while. I guess I've struck a report, Mr. Harris. Finally, I mean, he had issues trying to get a hold of us. I have tried to reach out to, that they're all chasing tail over there.
I know. I know.
It's really sad that there's nobody stepping up here to take control of things.
I know.
And they better get going quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously, we see it affecting us, and it's really, this is probably going to a little bit more of my board member comments, so, but it's affecting all of us that, you know, we all want to get on this train that's moving forward. That's just the nature of humanity.
It is.
And this train, the Michigan City train it stopped at the station going backwards right now, in my opinion. So, you know, I'm still amazed that a letter to the president of the Common Council doesn't get you a respect phone call or a letter back or an email saying, I hear you. You know, Michigan City just, with this newest COVID bailout money, was a recipient of many millions of dollars. So it's
16 million.
can't
Yep.
say that they got a hole in the budget anymore. So we need to, you know, it's just one of those side things that needs to be discussed. But all righty, getting off of that. Is there any old business that we discussed that needs to be talked about?
I think we've covered it.
Yeah, one thing we had talked last month too about me talking to the schools and trying to get in touch with the schools. Laura Henderson, thank you for the number for Daisy Lee. I called and left a message with her. We haven't connected yet, so hopefully by our Arbor Day giveaway, I'll have a good idea and talk to Daisy, and maybe she'll have some students there to come and get some trees and their families as well. So
Good.
All right. Okay, any other old business? Okay, hearing none. Any new business? Okay, no
Well,
new
I-
business.
Can I pitch in?
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi, yeah, I'm very sorry I'm late. I was on another meeting. I don't know how to split myself in half. I'm not sure why Park was an hour before this. They didn't even end yet. I just bailed. I needed to do something for them, so I'm really sorry. And
Then we understand. Thank you for being here. Woo!
our new business is that, you know, we do need a forester, correct?
Yes.
Well, we talked about that. I had a conversation with Mr. Harris, Central Services, that they had a meeting today as far as the forester position. The mayor wants to put it in the Parks Department kind of thing. We discussed at the board that it should stay under the city's banner per se. So I'm going to write a letter to the mayor and to the Central Services saying that we, a collective agreement, think that it should stay under the city umbrella for this type of thing.
Can I pitch in for that? So I also wrote a letter to the mayor today, and I don't know, I was supposed to be at that meeting, but I was not told about it ahead of time, so I was actually traveling from a doctor's appointment. I couldn't be there. But I wrote a letter, and I disagree. I think it should be either under the Parks Department or under Sanitary, because those are the two departments that do all the restoration work, the green infrastructure work, and they write grants to get money for all this green infrastructure. And Central Services, they have nothing really to do with anything environmental. I mean, yeah, they have the bucket trucks or whatever, but that's about it. So I really think, and Sanitary is interested in that too, because of course, anytime they put in green infrastructure, all these different projects, it has to be maintained, and you have to know what plants to pull, what plants to plant. And I think we just need to separate that forester job from vector control. I don't think that's really a good match. We need someone that's environmental, knows the native plants, knows the native trees, and the good trees for the city. And I think we just need to rethink that position. So I definitely think it should not be under central services, either parks or sanitary or somehow some kind of a collaboration. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. I have been talking to people as well about that.
Sanitary might be a good fit. And
Yes.
then that way it would still be part of the city. It wouldn't be under the state funding.
Mhm.
Right. So I think either, like I say, they're the ones that write the grants. They have gotten millions of dollars of grants, whereas, the rest, nobody else is really there. So I think it doesn't fit there. So that's my opinion. I did send a letter and I can share that with you guys, what I sent. So,
That would be awesome.
Thank you.
and this just happened like an hour before my park meeting. So
Oh my God, what a day. Oh my God. Woo. Okay.
Well, thank you, Dahlia. That is, I guess it is a sobering idea. I'm glad you brought it forward. Maybe just get the forester out of central services might be a good thing, and
That would help keep the 2 jobs separate.
Absolutely.
I mean, that would make it, because if it stays in central services, it's the temptation to combine them again, which is bad.
Rooting for, exactly. That was the whole issue the entire time this last several years. So
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I missed the first part, but have you talked more about Arbor Day? Because I told the city council I'd give them an update, but now I wasn't here to get the update, so.
Well, the update is we're going to have it at May 1st at the farmer's market. We kind of always did that date right around there.
maybe she knows who's
I'll
in
road
charge.
trip.
Yeah.
I do.
Elliot, who should we talk to about the farmer's market?
Her name is Dee Haddad. I can send you her.
I'm sorry?
Her name is Dee
Okay.
Haddad, and I will send you her email address. So I do know a
Thank you.
contact.
Okay.
I happen to know something, yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah. So we always did it there. It was so successful. It was a good time, so if there's a way that we can get in over there as usual, that would be wonderful. And whoever talks to them over there, let us know. Sometimes they would provide the table. If they don't, I've got tables I can bring. I always just throw them in my truck
Okay.
and bring them right over.
Yeah.
I can do 2 or 1, whatever you guys want. So
Who would you like to be the contact? Would you like to, Laura?
Yes.
All right. Well, I
I
just
would-
sent it to everybody.
thank you. That's perfect.
All right.
Good timing.
Well, I was going to take a road trip down and get the trees. Laura was going to send me the
Yes.
receipt or the letter of whatever to go get them. So it's one of the rainy days. I will take a little road trip one day and go get them.
Nick, is this something you need help with? Is that a lot of trees? How do they give them to you? Are they?
It's bundles. And actually they
They fit in your backseat of your car. It's
They
not-
do. They don't take up very much room. They're wrapped in a little bit of peat and some, basically a paper bag.
Yeah, a couple paper bags.
And I think
Oh,
she
sure.
only has like 100 of this, 100. I think she only maybe has 300 or 400 coming, right?
Yeah. I think about 4 different species, 100 each.
And do we have the little flyers on how to plant them and take care of them or anything, or no? Remember we were gonna do that.
I have some of them. I think I have maybe 200 of them. But
That should be it.
I'm thinking Jessica might also have some, and Jessica wants to be part of the tree giveaway too.
Oh, great.
So, yeah.
Oh, and I don't know if you guys remember, Amanda Glanz, our old forester, also offered to be,
Yes, I was thinking that.
to either be there or if that date is already lined up for her, she's going to provide all of the invasives pamphlets to hand out along with
Great.
which I think is amazing. I think that's fantastic. Or maybe we'll all be there at once. I don't know. We'll see.
Yes.
But just an update, Barb and I will bring the bags that we always put them in. I'll bring the ribbon to mark the names on things for people. I'll bring markers,
Okay.
and I'll bring the watering can donation cans like I do.
Super.
So as usual, I've got that whole kit already kind of, packaged up for the tree board
Great,
upstairs.
great,
So
great.
I'm excited.
One,
I'm excited that it's open for us to, so I'm hoping that they will let us position there on that date for the giveaway.
Yeah.
one thing, Dahlia, since you were talking that you were going to be brought into the meeting today, but you didn't know about it, it's always been customary that I would sit in and help the interview go along with the prospective candidate. And Mr. Harrison didn't know anything about that, so we need to express that to the mayor. Mr. Harris knows about it now, but in order to get a fit, we know what we would be looking for. So I would be asked that we also be brought in on the hiring, the interviewing process. Last time when we hired Jessica, it worked out really well. It was probably one of our better fits. So
It's actually in the ordinance that the tree board makes the decision on who's the arborist. It's actually in our ordinances, so.
Yes.
well,
But I'm
somebody
not sure
think,
about Vector. Vector, I don't think is part of that.
no.
No.
Mhm.
It's not supposed to be.
Mhm.
All right. Well, hopefully we got some of this cleared up here, so we can move along. All right. Is there anything else? We kind of jumped around here and there, but this is our board member comments section. So does anybody have anything
Yeah.
they'd like to say?
Yes. Speaking of Amanda Glantz, she is going to be at Westchester Migratory Bird Sanctuary in Chesterton this Saturday, the 10th. And that's from 8:30 to 12:30. Lunch is provided. Join Amanda Glantz, Indiana Invasives Initiative Regional Specialist, and other plant and wildlife experts to learn about birds, bats, and other animals, invasive plants, water quality, and how you can help the environment right here in Porter County. Close enough. Also, learn how to identify plants harmful to people like poison ivy. Kids can pull garlic mustard and plant pawpaw trees and make signs to name them. Bring heavy-duty work gloves and gardening tools. So that's this Saturday if anybody wants to go. Chesterton Migratory Bird Sanctuary, and that is our former forester, Amanda Glantz. So
I think it's so special that all those past foresters want to still be involved and have connected.
That's really
with us,
cool.
And that's
Yes.
really special.
yes,
As you said, Jessica would love to. Amanda would love to. She was just so excited, about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's really nice.
yeah.
Mick, I have a question, I guess, maybe. I know, Dahlia, you know this, I know you're not in the planning department, but in the last few city council meetings, there was discussion of modifying the zoning ordinance about trees on properties and how the owners could control or have control over how, has anything happened with that?
That was quite a few months ago, and no, that
It
went
just
away.
died?
So,
That was squashed.
Okay.
well, it didn't die easily, but it died.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes.
I just want to say that I really like the idea of the city forester belonging to sanitation.
Me
I think
too.
that's a really good fit, and I think it's much better than it being part of central services, which was
Absolutely.
always kind of a problem.
It's a fantastic idea.
I like that too. I think Mike Cuss does a great job over there, and he would do a good job with working with
Yes.
the forester as well.
Yes.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Feel like we're moving forward, you guys. I know
Well, they have that one committee, the
Mm-hmm.
swag committee.
Mm-hmm. What did you say?
What's that?
We're losing
Zoom garbled you. What did you say?
Swag, you ever heard of it before? I think it's
Yes, I am on the SWAG committee, so I have been on there for about 4 years, so you're not gonna be surprised. It's a stormwater advisory group, so.
Okay. I seem to be having an internet issue here. I think my daughter is stealing all the width so
Oh.
we seem to be up and running. All right. I've never been to that SWAG meeting, but it seems like something that the trees play a big part in. That's probably on my something to do list to go see one of those one day, but who knows, might drop in. All righty, any other board member comments?
One more thing.
Mhm.
I did get something from the city clerk. I guess other commissions had this trouble. It was an outline of what is expected, when are the agendas due, who to send them to, etc. I will send that document to everybody as well. She said to share it with all the commissions. Because I guess, a lot of people, we're supposed to have it on the calendar. I was always complaining about that. And that's really a way for people to find out where to meet and how to get on the Zoom.
Okay.
Good, because I had asked Gail and
We hadn't
heard back.
Yeah.
So this is good.
That's
This
fantastic.
is, I'm sorry to say, this is the issue of the council. You know, it's governed by the state law that the city has to provide these kind of organizational methods. And to put it on Laura Henderson, I think is the wrong thing to do. The city has received several millions of dollars for COVID-related type of bills, shortfalls in the budget. I think it's time to reinstate our secretarial services. Then the whole city and us will be better positioned. We will know more, and we won't be chasing each other's tail. I'm sorry, Dahlia, but that falls in your department. I don't know anything about it. I'm upset still that I have not heard anything from the city council. Our board here has been signaled out. Not all the boards have taken a drastic cut. Like, there's only been a handful of boards that have their stuff taken away. For the couple $1,000s that it cost, it has put 6 of us, 7 of us in a bad position. So that's just going to be my benchmark from here on out. So
You're gonna need to let people know when they ask for what are your ideas? Because they're gonna be asking, what are your ideas to spend this money for? There are only certain permitted uses, but you can't put it on all of me. But yes, please let people know what you want, not just me, but maybe whoever asks for the input, please.
well, it's just disrespectful when the president of a board writes a letter to another president of the board that they can't have the audacity to phone him or write him a letter back. And I don't write a letter without some type of idea on how to fix the problem. That's just a rude way to say I don't believe in it, but there was ideas that were forecasted. If it was a bad one, they should tell me. If it was a good one, it's something to work about. That's how things get done. We have to start looking forward to some leadership in the city. Right now, it's lacking. And it is affecting all these members here that look for strong leadership. And I have to look for strong leadership, and I am not feeling it. So I've talked to Laura about this same issue, and
I agree.
it's not just affecting us, it has far-reaching consequences. And Dahlia, you just gotta hear what your people are telling you so you can feel the board out. So that's why I have to direct it to you so you can direct it up the stream.
Yeah, and if they're gonna cut something from one of these boards that is very important to the boards, I think instead of just outright doing it and settling it then and there that night. It needs to be brought to the board's attention without just saying, okay, it's done and over with and nothing else. I mean, it can't be done that way. You can't just, it's not like they're firing somebody from a job. We are a board that runs the city. And they just came in and eliminated something that we need. We totally need. And if they're gonna be, the council is gonna keep cutting things, they need to notify that board to find out why you need that position. You can't just cut it.
Well, we had a long city council meeting. What day is today? Yesterday. Okay. And they are working on the budget earlier, and people can participate in this budget process. When they look over what they're gonna cut or whatever, you can be a participant. So when, the tree board comes up, you guys have to show up and, express your opinion.
When we got the budget, it was already cut out of there. We've never approved that budget yet.
It was never even acknowledged that this was even coming up. So
No.
that was a disrespectful note. And, listen, we are all in this together to move forward and have this city be communicative and beautiful and in a great working manner. But we don't feel like a part of the team when that happens. We really don't. So, yeah, we do need to show up, but we didn't even know that it was going on to even show up that first initial time. So I know moving forward, I know what you're saying, Dahlia. There's something coming up earlier, and that's our chance. It was rather frustrating after all these years of being on the board, and I know Mick agrees, as many of you who have been on the board for a couple as well, short term or long term, that we put in all these efforts because we support our city. But we need to be supported the same, otherwise you're going to lose some people that really have a passion to be there for the city. And that's really, really important.
I do not disagree.
Well, Dahlia, it's just, we don't know when they're going to talk about treat, that kind of thing. We used to know when they were going to do it because we got an email. We don't have that person on there anymore helping us. I mean, that's why we're looking and pointing at you, because you're probably that person in the seat these days. And you have several things on your plate. I hate to say it like a broken record, but the record's broken. So, okay, we'll get off our soapbox. I think you know where we're at.
Dahlia, we appreciate you. We really do.
Very much so.
Thank you, Dahlia.
We really do. And we just, like, you are going to be our person, I guess, now. Do you know what I mean? Debbie really was there for us all those years. Like, hey, guys, this, you know what I mean? This is happening, and this is where we need to be. And, we don't have that anymore. So I hope it's not too much pressure, Dahlia. But we need you. And
we had a person in the door, it sounds like, before. Now we just have Dahlia's foot in the door. So we just need her to help keep it open for us.
Yeah. No comment, Dahlia. No.
All right, moving on down the list. Do we have any public comments? I don't see any public out there tonight. So they're not beating at the door. Our next meeting is, looks like it's May 5th. If that's okay with everybody. I'd probably like to pretty soon have a meeting in person somehow or another.
It would be nice.
Well, it sounds like we might all meet at the farmer's market.
Yes, I'm excited for this open air meeting that we will be having. So I'm really excited about it.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get a little more guidance on that there. I'm pretty sure most government buildings and meetings are almost face to face with a mask on, and we're all getting vaccinated, I'm sure. So
I've had mine too.
I've had mine too.
Yep.
So,
My turn next.
all right. Well, I've been good to go for a long time already, so, all righty. I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I so move.
I second.
Okay, everybody in favor?
Aye.
All
All
All righty. Thank you.
Thanks,
right, everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
a good evening, and we'll see you in a few weeks at the farmer's market.
Yep.
Yes.